Welcome to Journey Principles. I'm Steven Scoggins. Did you know that a global poll recently done by Gallup actually said that over 85% of Americans virtually hate their jobs? Well, in this video, we're going to discuss 7 principles to help you not be one of those, so stay tuned. Look, check this out. We've all been there. We've all worked at places that we probably care not to work and had different supervisors we care not to have. The difference is whether or not you were in the right lane to begin with. So many times, finding the right purpose-driven passion comes from actually making sure you make the right choice from the get-go. For example, not long ago, I did a whiteboard lesson called the Pentagon of Passion, where I try to outline the 5 different things you need in order to actually define what that passion is. Well, if you haven't checked that out, I recommend you do that because it'll make this particular video actually make a lot more sense. And here's what I mean by that. When you can identify what your passion is, then you're better suited to understand where you need to go. You're able to take your pain and turn it into a prize. You're able to take a pivot and actually turn it in such a way that avoids you helping you stay away from getting tracked. You deserve more, and I want to help you get it. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into these 7 principles so you can start utilizing them immediately. First one, principle number 1 is be authentic to be valued. I once heard a story not long ago about 3 different stonemasons. One of the stonemasons said, "Hey, look, what are you doing?" A guy came up and asked the stonemason, "Well, what are you doing?" He says, "Well, I'm laying stone." The same guy went up to the second stonemason and said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm building a wall." And then the same guy goes up to the third guy, the third stonemason, and says, "Well, what are you doing?" He says, "I'm building a cathedral." Sometimes perspective matters. Clearly, only one of those stonemasons was actually working in his authentic self, his authentic created nuance, if you will, that actually brought his value to the world. If you want people to truly value what it is you bring to the table, you've got to make sure you're sitting at the right table. And the only way to make sure you're sitting at the right table is to be honest and authentic to your core and not be swayed from that. Try not to put yourself in professions and things of that nature that you're super not passionate about. Or if you have to do that for a small season, do your best to keep your options open so you're allowed to actually continue moving forward so you can actually take the thing and turn it into the ultimate thing. All right? So I hope that helps you. Be authentic to be valued. Principle number 2, uncover your unique value that you bring. Not too long ago, I did an entire teaching, if you will, on the 7 value systems. Now, these 7 value systems help you understand the unique value you actually bring to the world. I highly recommend you check out the whiteboard lessons as well as face-to-face videos that we did on that concept. Why? Because you need to understand what value you bring. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make on a regular basis, and I made it myself, was this. I didn't take the time to research myself and become self-aware enough to understand what made me tick. And because I wasn't sure on what made me tick, I never could tick the right way. Okay? It's kind of like having a nice Rolex watch. If the Rolex watch itself looks pretty but doesn't operate, it's still no good. You're going to have to take the time to really dig in deep for yourself and help understand what value you bring to the world. So make sure you do that as we kind of move into principle 3. Now, principle 3, discover what marketplace is right for you. All right? There are 8 mission-driven marketplaces that I've broken down in another video, and I invite you to check that out. Okay? Now, when you do that, what you're going to understand is there's of those 8 mission-driven marketplaces, there's a variety of them. For instance, government and world leadership, arts and entertainment, media and influence, right? Family and friends. All of these are different mission-driven marketplaces that you can take your gifting and your skill sets and your talents, and when you align them in the right way at the right time for the right thing, what you get out of that is something pretty amazing, which is a passionate day-to-day operation. There's an old adage that says, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. This is how you get there. You uncover your value, you're authentic, and you align yourself to the proper mission-driven marketplace. And as a result, you're operating in your sweet spot and you can continue to prosper. So make sure you're taking that out. All right, that brings us to our next one. Principle number 4, sharpen and increase your value on a regular basis. Think about it this way. What is something you would do for free? And then how can you sharpen those skills to be so razor sharp that somebody would pay you for it? Think about that. If you take the other principles we've already broken down and then you overlay them with principle 4, all you need to do is continue to grow in the area that you're most passionate about with your authentic self. In order to do so, you're going to have skills that have to be sharpened. which means you're going to have to find the right mentors. You're going to have to find the right content and the right education, right? But above all, as long as you are constantly focused, relentlessly focused, if you will, on sharpening your skill set to increase your value, you will win. It may not happen overnight, but it will happen. All right, so let's take that and build that principle number 5. Principle number 5 says this: serve better and be seen more often. One of the things that happens, at least in my workplace, a lot of time with my team specifically, is as we're going through things, is I inevitably have team members that will do a fantastic job. I got team members that do a really good job, and I've got team members that do, they got some okay stuff, right? From time to time. We all have that. Here's the defining moment when I'm actually trying to figure out how to promote a team member. One of the key things I'm looking for: initiative. When there's not something to be done, meaning they're done with their daily task or their daily work, what do they bring? Do they come to me and say, hey, look, how can I help? What can I do? Where can I go? These are the type of people that you know are team, right? They're team members. These are people that are actually trying to help. So why not become the best person that can serve in your area and become the team member that nobody wants to do without? Okay, you got that? Become the team member that nobody wants to do without. And you do that by serving so good that everybody sees your service and you don't have to say a word. The best servants are the ones that do it with action and not with words. So make sure you're taking the time to serve better with those sharpened skills you've been building. Principle number 6, always advance by honest means. One of the biggest troubling experiences that I had in running my company was a hire that I said actually got past me. And here's what I mean by that. We have a very established process in hiring people. Normally it takes several hires to come on any one of my companies. Well, we had a young lady that went through the hiring process and we hired her. Unfortunately, when she got here, she immediately began to position herself above and around other team members, but not with integrity. She began pointing out different things to different people that other people were quote unquote not doing correctly based on her own perspective. Well, the difference is in this particular story, it actually cost her position. Why? Because I personally only like to advance people by honest means. I want to advance the people that have had the initiative and have the skill set and have done the work to develop themselves, that I can trust them with added leadership, right? That's what the world is looking for you. No matter where you're working, no matter what business you want to create, the world, the customers, all of them are looking for the person who's going to bring so much value that it's easy to advance by honest means, which takes us to principle 7. Principle 7 is so vital that it almost literally cost me $1 million. Okay, and here's what I mean by that. Communicate well even when others won't. I went into a situation not that long ago where I was going to talk to a customer about a specific problem. Well, in that problem, I had already built up in my mind all the bad things or all the negative things that were supposed to happen in my mind about that customer. In other words, I had already prepared to go to a gunfight with a knife, only to find out that nobody at the table when I got to the meeting had a weapon at all. In fact, it was an open hand saying, hey, how can I help you? It's very important that you communicate well when others won't, or don't for that matter. It's so important that you do your part to be a whole person, have that character, have that integrity, and to keep moving forward on your own. Why? Because when you do those things, you stand out above the crowd. Because the vast majority of people, unfortunately, are still struggling to identify who they are, where they're going, and what they're going to do next to kind of make their life mean something. Well, you might be slightly ahead of them, which means you're automatically going to communicate better than they do in many cases, which is why it is so vital that you communicate well even when others won't, right? Because they don't know what they don't know. You have this information. You've had these videos. You have other things that we're doing and other influencers out there that you can get wisdom from to shape your communication style and shape your success around that. And as a result, you get to win when other people struggle. So I hope you enjoyed this video. In the meantime, check out these other videos on the screen and also in the description below, and we'll see you in the next face-to-face.
Hey, it's Connor with The Journey Principles. If you like this video and you want to learn a bit more on how to find a career you love, you should check out our whiteboard lesson where we cover the Passion Pentagon. Also, we've put together an entire Life Mastery 101 playlist right here on YouTube, so you can feel free to check that out as well.